Hey, hello, sports fans. It's Larry Eder, RunBlogRun. This is our program, Socialing the Distance. We're featuring three athletes from Clemson. The first of them is Kameron Jones. We just spoke with Kameron, and this is the epilogue. So this is my monologue. So here's the situation at Clemson. The head track coach, Mark Elliott, called everybody in and to a meeting. And according to Kameron, they'd never had this before. Kameron even had to give an excuse not to go to work. He at first thought it was about COVID. Then he knew it was something bad. And what it was that Clemson was cutting the men and women's track programs and cross-country programs, everything all at once. The AD, Dan Rikovich, who has a reputation for decimating track and field programs. Remember, he was the guy who messed up Georgia Tech. Used the excuse that, track and field is responsible for $2 million in cost, and not only did he take care of that $2 million in cost, although they are looking at a $25 million shortfall down the road, but it also stops any chance of getting nailed for Title IX down the road because they've added softball. Here's a couple of the issues, and again, I've seen ADs do this before, and it's rather short-sighted. There's three sports that African-American athletes get involved with, and that's football, and that is basketball, and that is track and field. In fact, 92% of African-American males who compete in sports in college are in those three sports. Those sports give those young men the chance to get a college education, which, as we know, is the great leveler in this country. And so that by cutting track and field, you're cutting possibly 1/3 of the African-American athletes who compete in the Clemson program. And that's rather sad as well. But what I think is the strangest is, in typical dictatorial fashion, Mr. Rakovich says there's no way going back and there's no explanation. First of all, in this country, never tell anybody there's no way of going back, no fight and no explanation, because you know what? It isn't going to happen. And thank God the young men on the team at Clemson, cross country and track and field, SaveClemsonXCTF with the hashtag, check it out. And young men such as Kameron Jones are fighting the good fight. Cameron's a middle distance runner. He's gone 21:41 in the 200, 46:17 at 400, 116 and change in the 600. He told me he's done a 115 and a 149 800. I think he can get down to 146, but that's just me talking. And he's got a fine group of athletes that he trains with. He was at the University of Maryland under our friend Andrew Valmont, but he thought that Clemson had for graduate school had the program he wanted, which was athletic leadership. Two, he had it helped him. It was helping him achieve his goals. He turned on a job with the NCAA to compete for his last year. He's got an outdoor season left. And the way Clemson is talking about it is going through 2021 and in June of 2021, shutting all the men's programs down. The coach, Mark Elliott, is devastated. Mr. Clemens, who is the university president, doesn't sound like they've been able to reach out to him, but I understand some of the athletes on the team have reached out to the board of trustees. Check out their Facebook, check out their Twitter, check out their Instagram. They are fighting the good fight, but they need money, but they need voices. Consistently send notes to especially to the AD, Twitter him, because what these guys hate most of all is their name in public. Rakovich would not like to be known as the man who's decimating a program and on a university and in an area where what did I understand that in South Carolina, 26% of the population is African American, and at Clemson, 6% of the students are African American. That's a little strange. So what he's doing is one of the programs, the biggest program outside of football that gives African-American males a chance to get an education and to further their athletic goals is track and field. and he's wiped it out in one fell swoop. And he said it's not a racial thing. Of course it's a racial thing. Everything's a racial thing or an economic thing, and this is economics. He hasn't figured out, and the easiest way is just to cut a program that he thinks that, well, the track coach isn't going to fight him. And track people, what do? They're geeks. They look at times. They're not going to argue. They don't even know how to write. So, yes, these people know how to write. They know how to communicate. There's some wonderful alums from Clemson, and Kameron is going to help fight the good fight. And we encourage you at RunBlogRun and the Run Network, we encourage you to support the Clemson track and field team, the men's track and field team, and the young women are supporting it as well. But support Clemson in their fight to keep men's track and cross country alive. Send notes, tweet Mr. Rakovich, send notes of support to Mark Elliott, the coach, and send notes to Mr. Clemens, the university president, and the board of trustees. All that info is up on their site and their Facebook. We're going to support them. You support them as well. This is Larry Eder with RunBlogRun signing off. This is Socialing the Distance. If you like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, like us on Instagram. If you love us, subscribe on our YouTube channel. This is Larry Eder signing off.